Listen.
Who's gonna do it? How we gonna go live? Go push the button.
No, you did.
On Facebook, bro.
You said it was live.
Oh, we're not live on here.
Oh.
Alright, let's do it. iTunes sign it. Just cancel it or there? Alright. Mic check, mic check. Mic check, mic check. How's your headphones? Good, good to go. Alright, let's see.
Hello and welcome to the Rock and Turk Sports Show. My name is Rocco Foggio and I'm one of your hosts. And as always, I'm joined by one of my co-hosts, Justin Turk. But today we will not have Dominic the Ref Regio. He's out at Comic-Con still chasing supervillains. So hopefully me and Turk won't kill each other. But if it all comes down to that, I think our producer Jay may have to jump over on a table and separate us.
I can do that.
For our new listeners, we're a couple former athletes turned coaches that are going to bring you the week's top national and local sports stories and give you our unique sports perspective and experiences with that. And we'll take it and then we'll keep going from there. So before we get started, just want to let you know today's show is sponsored and brought to you by Blaze Contracting.
Blaze Contracting is a heavy civil site contractor with a history of performing work throughout Michigan, Ohio, and Nevada. A partial list of clients served by Blaze include General Motors, Detroit Medical Center, Omaha Hospital, Ford Motor Company, Walbridge Construction Company, Barton Mallow, Christian Construction, Kearney Construction Companies,
I think I played the first one.
Companies,
Yeah, that's the whole one.
Energy,
Yeah.
University of Michigan, Detroit Public Schools, Detroit Water and Sewage Department, MGM Green and Resource Development, and Wayne State University. In recent memory, Blaze Contracting has been a key component in infrastructure projects such as the Detroit M1 Rail, now known as the Q Line, Little Caesars,
The next one I'll play the new one.
Detroit Pistons and Red Wings,
I need to redo that one
Detroit
anyway,
Rush Park,
honestly. Okay.
Las Vegas Project City Center, and just recently breaking ground in Detroit on the new Flex and Gate Auto Supply Plant. Hey, sports fans, if you're out there listening and you are involved in the developmental construction process of a commercial site or the planning of new infrastructure, you need to give Blaze a call.
Got about 10
On
seconds.
Blaze to light the fire where you will pave your road to success. Give them a call today. Call 313-361-1000
4,
or visit their website at
2,
www.blazecontracting.com.
What's going on, Turk? What's happening today?
What's up? Another Thursday, show 6. This is 5 out of 6 shows. It's raining. I don't know if anybody noticed that. Keep it count. It's rain 5, sun 1. So I don't know what's in store for June and July. I'm a little nervous because that's a lot of rain.
Well, you know what I think it is? I think, like you said last week, it didn't rain, so we said dudes can go get their male rompers. And the
So much
universe,
romper season.
the universe didn't like that, so it said, no, we gotta rain.
No, son. We got to put some rain out.
Hey, talking about that, man. So I went in. I don't know. It's just I'm intrigued by it. So I started looking around and just see. Come on, man. And
So
I came
hold on, people. He can start Googling men rompers. all
because
right?
it's so ridiculous. So when I went and looked at it, I went and looked some stories up, and they said that Cam Newton wore. This is an ESPN report that Cam
So it's got to
Newton
be official.
was at
ESPN.
Coachella wearing one at some point. I was like, no, bro, that can't be.
No,
real.
that's Cam Newton. You got to believe it's true, man. That dude.
I mean, a foxtail is one thing, but a male romper.
It's two
man?
dudes that I would already assume have worn male rompers. It's Cam Newton
And Westbrook.
Odell Beckham. I'm talking about NFL football players.
Okay.
Odell Beckham, Cam Newton, guaranteed have already worn the romper.
So what they gonna do? They gonna bring back the big, what are the footies? Remember when you was a kid, you had the whole pajama outfit?
onesie?
The onesie, they gonna bring them back too?
Dude, if I see a dude outside, man, listen, if I see you outside wearing the onesie, I'm clotheslining you. I don't care who you are. Close the line.
Here's another real quick thing. I got to get it out, and it's. I don't want people to think it's cruel. There's been I forget where it's at. It might have been in North Carolina. It might have been downtown. It was or New Jersey. There was there's been 5 or 6 fatalities from people eating.
I'm sorry, I'm not laughing, but I am.
From eating nacho cheese from a gas station, right?
Gas station cheese.
And so
do not eat.
the first thing, like I said, it's horrible and tragic, but the first thing that came to my mind is when I was a kid, I was a little, as they say, husky kid, and I was always hungry. And Mama, I gotta get something to eat. She goes, no, you don't eat anything out of a gas station. Nothing. You can get chips, you can get pop, get nothing that's exposed out there like that.
I will admit this though. I thought about at first. I was like, "Who's eating at a gas station?" I said, "Wait a minute. There's a gas station in Berkeley. It's on 12 Mile and Coolidge, and they have phenomenal shawarmas. Number one.
I'm never doing that. And I see
Number
that all in
two,
Dearborn.
in Bowling Green, there was a gas station that had gyros and fries, and it was.
You asking for it, bro?
You know what? Honestly, I'm sure the first place I tasted roasted chicken was in Kentucky at a gas station, and we used to go down there every. I don't know where we going down memory
Who are you
lane.
rolling with? What
Oh
is
man,
wrong with
you got to talk to my dad, man.
Oh, this was.
But guess what? It was no cheese.
No cheese.
No cheese though. It was
Hey,
chicken, French fries, no
that company's done. Whoever supplies that cheese, they are done.
I think they got a strong case though. Like we didn't know it was going to a gas station.
Whatever. I just rule of thumb, people, if you're listening, don't eat anything that's the little food on the rollers at Speedway, pizza. You have no, there was just a story the other day. The guy putting rat poison on all the fruit in.
Yeah, sprayed the rat poison. I saw
Yeah,
that.
man.
I don't understand the people that eat the like. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt with a hot dog at Speedway. The thing is rolled, but everything else that's on there rolling, I don't understand all those rolling parts that people like grab and eat like they good.
There's no health standards. They're not making sure the stuff is.
I don't know, man. I done bought food off the truck before though, so I mean, hey, who knows? Don't judge me.
Well, Jay, just gotta tell you, be ready because today we got some hot topics.
Oh man, let me roll up my sleeves
And
though.
then
Make sure you give out that number. You can get some phone calls.
Absolutely. I'm gonna get to that, but I just wanted to. It's gonna be a hot topic. We've had some if you follow Turk at all and the Rock and Turk Sports Show, there was some kind of pre stuff we were talking about, and there was over 75 or 80 comments, and people were about to lose their minds. So I know me and Turk may get a little heated today. So
There's a huge case of butt hurt on the social media this week.
everybody's feeling
In the
hurt.
Metro Detroit area, there's a lot of butt hurt.
So with that, phone number here is 248-721-857. And if you can't get through on the line, keep trying, but you can also, we'll follow, check the Twitter here. So if you have a question you want to get through, you can't get on the phone, it's the Twitter handle is @Rock, ROCK, the letter N, Turk, TURK, Sports with a Z. That's Rock and Turk Sports with a Z on Twitter. So
Why
we'll
don't
get
you give that number out one more time? I think you left one out.
Okay, the number is 248-721-8570. That's to get here, the number here at Echo Network. All right, first topic up, as we've been touching on, because this is probably the last thing before the summer drought hits, we're talking NBA. So we're talking NBA playoffs and so any news and updates from the league. So first thing up is, what are your thoughts? We got the Golden State series is over, and Cleveland they're playing Game 5 tonight. So what are your thoughts so we know what your prediction was, that Golden State wasn't going to lose a game, so that's still out.
It's still strong, 12-0. I said one loss maybe, but 12-0 is about as good as you can get.
Okay.
Best point differential in the playoffs, even with Cleveland's 44-point win. So Golden State's, they're going to be rested. Your calves are,
My calf.
your calf, your neck, your back, your calf are they're up 3-1. I don't know what do you think so far? I know you got some thoughts on LeBron. What do you think?
Okay, so that was one of the things I was going to bring up once we got after that was LeBron's performance in Game 3, right? I am not the guy, I'm not a LeBron hater. I appreciate great athletics. I appreciate guys who play the game the way, quote unquote, it should be. He sells out. You don't get your money's worth when you come see him most of the time.
Unless he doesn't play.
Unless he doesn't play.
Okay, because he sits out 7 games this year, which is the most of any premier MVP candidate.
And I understand that's a whole nother topic.
Due to non-disclosed injuries. Okay, but go ahead.
But so here we go. LeBron James himself has said he was chasing. Today he said the media is all after him because he's, they're trying to compare this. LeBron James is the one that said, "I'm chasing the ghost of MJ."
He said that. He said that. What was he last year? 2 years ago?
He said it. It's his quoted line. He said it. And when everybody gets on about, I don't care about certain things. First of all, I say Kobe #1 is closer to MJ than Jordan because he has the whole difference between Jordan and LeBron. Jordan and Kobe, they have killer instincts. They want the ball. They're going to score. They're not looking to pass. They want to end it. They want to do it. LeBron is more of he calls himself the Magic Johnson, the distributor. He's like, I'll do whatever. But the thing is, you're in game 3. You score 8 points in the first half. That's fine because Kyrie and Kevin Love were having a game. And that's fine. When you get down into and they had a 20-point lead, okay, you get back into the game, gets tight. You tell me you're the best player in the world. You score 3 points.
Arguably the best player ever.
You're chasing it.
Yeah.
3 points in the second half and went scoreless for the last 16 minutes of the game, and you lose by 3 on a lucky bounce around shot. At what point, and I know I hate to say this, but that would not have happened. At some point, he would have said, sick or not. He won a finals when he was definitely sick.
I think it's an old bit to it's not necessarily fair. I'm not a LeBron enthusiast or an apologist. It's not fair to say it never would have happened, but we never saw Jordan do it. I'll say that. I'm not gonna say
him go 60
I never
minutes
seen him
without
go
scoring.
16 minutes without scoring. If it happens, somebody bring it up. Call the show 248-721-8570. If MJ would have done that in the Eastern Conference Finals, go scoreless for 16 minutes, 3 points in the second half, in a game that you were close in, not in the blowout, not in mop-up duty, a game that was close, clutch. Where were you at?
And what do we tell our guys when we were coaching them? If you want to be a star, you got to give me a star
performance,
right?
Effort, yeah.
And I'll say if you're going to be the boss, you got to be a boss in the big moments. And there's too many times, and I'm not trying to go back and the Dallas series, the series with Boston when they said he quit. You got to show up and you got to play. And that's my only problem with him is, and not that he takes off like some guys, but if you're going to do it, but then don't complain about it. Don't complain.
I think this is rolling to the next part. I think in general, and I blame Mark Zuckerberg and social media, the Twitter deal, because I think just players in general, they are on attack mode until it gets tough. Until it gets tough, then it's like, why are you bothering me? LeBron, why are you only asking me questions when we lose?
Yeah.
Well, hey, LeBron, you probably didn't notice when you was winning the questions I asked, but I asked the same questions. You want to talk tough when you lose. You want to throw fans out of a game because they heckling you. And KD's, KD. I don't want to get too far because we're still talking LeBron. I just, it's funny we get to the finals and we always get down to this MJ versus Bron. And I just wish that they would just let the two guys stand alone and just let them be the great players they are. Which LeBron is a phenomenal player, once in a lifetime athlete. It's actually, God is laughing at Detroit now because the best two players in the world, arguably, are in Cleveland and Chicago. So whether we go east or west, we got to look at both of these clowns, right? The two cities that are our biggest rivals on both sides of us.
But here's the thing, too. If you really want to break, because I'm a stat guy to a certain extent, when you break things up, if you actually take the things, did Jordan play great defense like LeBron? No, because LeBron can guard everybody in the court. Was Jordan a better shooter than LeBron? No. Jordan didn't really start getting his stride till like the later 5-6 years of his career. Is he, you can compare Jordan and LeBron to everything, and LeBron is pretty much statistically head over heels, all of them. But the simple thing when it comes, I'm just telling you, just statistically, if you look at it. But
where's my lead course so fast?
But when you get back, hold on. But when you get back to it, just for whatever reason, people can't give man his due. And I know that's because Jordan is. In my mind, he's still. If you just from the eyeball test, if you watch old Jordan highlights and you watch stuff now, I think part of it also it's what I say is the Roy Jones Jr. Right. A lot of people, he doesn't get his due. Well, you know what? He was probably the greatest fighter at the time, but he didn't have anybody. He had to play who was there. And right now, he's playing a weak East. Right?
He's playing a weak East.
So, and where Jordan and I hate to be revisionist, but the competition on both sides, East and West, was way tougher.
I think you can't argue that Jordan faced stiffer competition on the way to the finals. I will consider the argument about who faced stiffer competition in the finals. I think it's worth discussing. I don't think it's worth discussing what Jordan had to get through.
Yeah, we
get
talked
to the
about
finals.
that last week.
I don't
Detroit
think it's even close. I don't think it's close.
And all that.
But to the numbers though, which is one thing that people go do that voodoo math. I call it voodoo math. They throw out stuff. LeBron's got 1,000 more rebounds than
But he played longer.
Michael
I
Jordan.
mean, he not longer,
Well,
but he came out earlier.
Yeah, he came out earlier. Well, if you did a snapshot of their career right now, they're both at about 1,070 games, which is all Jordan played. Through 1,070 games, LeBron's 27 points a game career average. He's 7 rebounds, and I think he's 6 assists. And Jordan is 30 points a game. He's 5 rebounds and he's 5 assists. So the difference between the two, Jordan's got him by a couple points. LeBron's got him by 1 rebound, a couple assists. So this physical, advantage that people think LeBron has on the court, which I think nobody would argue that the NBA was a bigger league back when Jordan played. There were bigger guys on the court. They play a lot of small ball now. Physical league. The stats are a lot closer than they should be when you consider that LeBron is supposed to be the superiorly dynamic athlete compared to LeBron. From a size, strength perspective, the numbers should be a lot more weight in his
I agree.
favor.
Yeah, I would say that.
In my opinion.
Well, Scottie Pippen also said that, so I'm going to listen to him, right? Because he's a Jordan guy and all that. But he said that, and he even threw himself in there. He said that outside of Jordan, no one else up until this point in history has been as athletic as LeBron.
Agreed.
He said in some areas maybe he is more so than Jordan. He just said that what he sees as differences. One, he said Jordan was he was a hungry scorer.
Yeah.
Like he wanted the ball. And also, but what he did say was where he said the only difference where he thinks LeBron game is better is that he said Jordan didn't want, like LeBron could be a point guard if he wants to. He can bring the ball control. He said Jordan didn't want that. All he wanted to score. And
That's my argument though, that for people who make LeBron out to be the magic of the more facilitator of the game, the difference between the two is 2 assists and 1 rebound. So to think that LeBron had such a greater overall game than Jordan, the numbers don't show it. I mean, the numbers show he was 7 assists a game and Jordan was 5. So how much more of a facilitator was LeBron than Michael Jordan?
I just think, like you said, it's fool's gold though because the league, and I hate to say it, the dynamics of the league are just different because it's just weaker. The league is weaker.
Speaking of weaker, I know this is a topic that you want to talk about.
We're good on real quick before we get to the bloodbath.
Real quick. Go ahead. What do you think about the state of the league as far as the sensitivity of these players?
You know what? I try to be cool and I try to, listen and look from their point of view because, like I said, one of the things about this show is we both played high-level football, right? And we understand, we've seen behind the scenes, behind the curtain of Oz that most people don't see. So when me and you say something, I hope people realize this is not, like I said, we can't stand fanboy talk. So this is us talking using our experiences. Some of these guys, like the Ryan Leaf situation, he was having a bad day that day, but that guy was kind of being a little disrespectful. So he got up in his face, and the statement of the day for me is going to be when men were men.
Yeah.
Right? He got in his face and was like, "You're gonna be disrespectful to me. I'm gonna get yelled in your face." I don't have a problem with that. It's still not professional, but whatever. But what happens with these guys now is these reporters are just asking questions. They're not even being bullied. They're not
doing their job.
Doing their job, and especially after a loss. And before LeBron, the biggest ones that come to me will first start off with Westbrook. If you ask him anything that he doesn't like, period, he just goes, he's either rude, he doesn't answer the question, or just he's unprofessional. Durant now is a tough guy. He just wants to come out and like, I don't know what happened in the last 2 years, but he just wants to fight everybody. And so, and then, LeBron, like you said, when he asks a question, like I said, they probably asking the same questions when he wins, but when he loses, he's more, I don't know what he is. I don't like him because he starts blaming his teammates or blaming other people. So yes, right now, to me, there's a lot of insecure athletes out there. But what makes it worse, and I can respect you in this, if you say what you say, and you mean it, and you stand by it. But as soon as the first social media report or story on ESPN comes out and there's a big hubbub about it, then all of a sudden they backtrack and say, like Durant just said, he told the fans, don't come, if you don't like the playoff games who's blowing people out, don't watch it. Okay, if that's what you believe, fine, stick with it. But then he says, well, I didn't know I offended anybody. If I did, I apologize. But I was just saying, if you don't like, no.
How did you not know you didn't offend anybody?
Yeah.
If you don't like it, don't watch it?
Yeah, man. but it's not even that's the tone that he had. Like he was KD, like the guy was bullying him.
KD's my guy, but I don't like what he said originally. I don't make a big deal out of it. I made a bigger deal when he went back and apologized. I thought that he showed too much focus on that topic. At that point, You said it. I mean, own it and move on. Don't come back and give us an apology as if you didn't mean it, because
Here's
we
what
meant it.
take a note from Pete Carroll's playbook. He tells his guys, whatever you do when you're in interviews, just don't say anything negative, because if you're positive, you can always put a different spin on it. But if you're negative and you say it, you say it. Just what your parents always tell you, what a coach always, don't talk when you're angry. Why do you think after games? I think it should be longer, but like in NFL, you can't come in there for 10, 15 minutes until after the game because guys are still hot.
Yeah.
So stop being. My thing, stop being a chump. Don't be a sissy. Don't be a chump. I'm not gonna cut it any other ways than that. Like, I'm not politically correct on a lot of things. It's like, be a man. When men were men, you say what you say. If you say, stick with it. If you make a mistake, apologize. And if you mean what you say, then don't go back on it.
But I do think a lot of it comes down to social media, man.
Once again, it's alpha male. Are you going to stick with your word, or are you going to let the opinions of?
I mean, how many times do we see a guy on Twitter
Delete
say
his
something
tweet.
crazy, and he either deletes his tweet or he say, "Hey, y'all got hacked."
Yeah. Oh, but yeah, also I look at the person that says it, because you know what? If LeBron James or someone with a little more character, credibility comes out and says, I can believe it. When you got someone like J.R. Smith, who's a total retard mental case, when he does dumb stuff, and then he tries to, no, you did that, bro.
Yeah.
Don't even try.
Yeah, Twitter fingers. It's called Twitter fingers.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna hack
Keyboard cowboys.
if you're gonna hack a professional athlete's Twitter,
I would do damage, bro.
Wouldn't you hack his bank account? Like, why would you go after his Twitter?
Whatever.
Right?
I would do so much X-rated and dumb stuff to make just a big deal about
You would have been at romper sale tomorrow.
I'm gonna hack it. and just say what I think, which probably is what he thinks, and then I got hacked.
Yeah. Oh man, somebody got me.
All right. Well, here's where Jay got to get ready. All right. Be ready to hop over the board. So
Watch the gloves on.
this week,
Problem.
Calvin Johnson, if you haven't heard, which I don't know how he couldn't be here in Michigan, came out and had some remarks about how it started. Was he was asked a question about his jersey getting retired and about the Lions, and he basically said, I don't want to talk about the Lions. Lions are the furthest thing from my mind. I don't think about it. And then the reporter's like, oh. And so that kind of started the hubbub about, okay, what's going on between Calvin Johnson and the Lions. So I'm going to let you go from here before I destroy you in this argument.
Yes, please let me go from here before you destroy me. 248-721-8570. Rock and Turk Sports Show. We're live on Facebook if you guys are following on the fan page. That's Rock and Turk Sports Show. SHOW, Rock and Turk Sports Show. We're live on Facebook, or we're streaming online, or you can call in 248-721-8570. Calvin Johnson. Now, let me disclaimer here. I just want to say I love Calvin Johnson. He's one of my favorite players of all time.
Okay, you better slit somebody's throat now.
Because the throat is getting slit. I love Calvin Johnson. He's one of my favorite players as an NFL player in general. I thought the guy was a beast on the field. But I'm taking it to the facts. I'm always I'm bringing the facts. Let's argue the points, and then explain to me how this is wrong. All right. So here's the timeline on Calvin Johnson. I think this is important when understanding what this guy is really mad about. Because I need to understand: is you really mad, bro?
Tell him why you mad.
Is
son.
you really mad, bro? Is you really mad? So all right. So 2007. All right. Let's go back to when we got to Calvin Johnson. We were all celebrating. It's number 2 pick in the draft. Calvin Johnson. He signed a contract worth $64 million. That was a 6-year rookie deal. This was before the NFL.
Before Sam Bradford's crazy deal where they said we got to
tighten this up. Bradford getting too much money. Calvin got $64 million for that contract. In that contract, he got $27 million guaranteed money. Okay? So, fast forward 5 years. He signed an extension with the Lions. That's 2012. He signed an extension. Now remember, I said 6 years, $64 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which you think is a lot of money. He signed an extension of 8 years, $132 million.
Yeah, I remember it was one of the biggest.
$132 million what they gave him. $60 million guaranteed. Now, if anybody understands the salary cap in the NFL, this is how a guaranteed bonus works when it's based on the salary cap.
Well, it's not just a bonus. It's all included, but $60 million is guaranteed no matter what happens.
No matter what happens. So that $60 million upon the contract. Now they can work the base salary any way they want. They can work how it counts, but the actual bonus is prorated over the length of the contract, and your bonus is prorated evenly over the length of the contract, unless you do any type of restructuring during the contract, which may change that. Okay, so we're saying $60 million guaranteed. They say, hey Calvin, You get $60 million
Hold on,
guaranteed.
wait, let me just throw one thing to help. So, and this is for a lot of people to give so we got it, so the contract looks big, 8 for 132, but what that guaranteed is for is, that money is what he's gonna get up front, because a lot of times, if players don't perform near the end, they front load the contracts, and then if they have to get to the end to get to the money. That's why when you see a lot of these contracts, you're like, oh, that's so much money, but they never get it because they're usually cut or traded. Okay, so.
Which we're getting to. So in 2013, Calvin was a trooper. This 2013. Now remember, he retired in 2016, so this is important. 2013,
15.
16. He retired in
This was
2016.
16. Well,
Yeah, he retired after 2015, beginning 2016. 2013, they say, hey, Calvin, we're strapped for cash. We need some cash. So Calvin restructured his contract, didn't change his the bonus he was getting. They converted a portion of his base salary in the bonus. So his base salary for the year 2013 changed from $5 million to $715,000, which is the least amount you can do for a 6-year accrued vet. The reason they did it was because Calvin wanted Reggie Bush. I don't know if you remember that. He signed off on Reggie Bush. He said, hey, I'll do this so we can get Reggie Bush. So Calvin was the team player 2013, okay? So fast forward 2 seasons later, after the 2015 season, 2016 comes, and we're hearing rumblings about Calvin Johnson talking about retiring from the NFL, okay? So at that point, I don't know if anybody remembers what we were looking at. Before the 2016 season, because Calvin renegotiated his contract 2013, he converted part of his base salary to bonus.
No, you said,
No, 2013. It changed his cap hits for future years.
Right.
It increased them. So it spread almost about $1 million on top of what he was already going to be on the cap hit. So his cap hit for the 2016 season was $24 million. So I think everybody kind of knew that he was going to have to renegotiate that if he wanted to stay. Now, mind you, that wouldn't necessarily change the amount of money he got. They could have put an extension, and like I said, they could convert money to base salary. To bonus, base salary to bonus, make an extension, and prorate that bonus over a longer contract so that he gets that money, but it lessens the cap hit. They can do. There's a lot of things you can do with the salary cap. People don't understand. There's a lot of things you can do. One of the options was that if Calvin retired, he still owed. He has a $16 million still remaining on that signing bonus, and if you prorated what he will owe, he would have to pay back $3.2 million to the Lions that he contractually did not earn. All right. So let's put this in layman terms. In layman terms, what they said was, we fronted you money based on you being here for X amount of years. You decided that you're not going to be here, so you need to give us the money back that for those years that you're not going to be here.
Give us the case back.
Give us the case back. And you know what they said? They said, you know what, Calvin? We don't want to make this a big deal. So we're going to say, just give us back 10 cents on the dollar. Because you know what? The salary cap is tight. We're taking $12 million in dead money now because you're retiring. We got no Calvin. We got a $12 million cap hit, right? It's dead money. So can you give us a little something back? Not just to show that we're making a stand here, because we don't want to set a bad precedent for future players who want to retire and keep their money. So let's give us back $320,000, and we'll call it good. So back last year, Calvin Johnson and the Lions agreed $320 back. The Lions even came out with a statement that said $320,000 has been paid back to the Lions. The deal has been called good. It was final. That money was credited back to the salary cap. All parties were happy. Calvin got to keep 2.9. Fast forward to this past week, Calvin decides to get on the radio in front of reporters and say, hey, everything's not good with the Lions. I don't like the way it went down. So we got to ask the question, why did he wait a year? Because last year with the Lions obviously thought they were good, because Jim Caldwell came on just yesterday and said, I didn't know there was a problem here, but he's part of the family. We need to figure it out.
But why would the coach know? I ain't got nothing to do with him. That's got to do with management.
I don't know. Tony Scheffler knew, because he was on social media telling me that I wasn't in the room. So
that's what I was going to bring up. I'm going to bring up some of that too. But let me. So that's a good argument, right? That's good.
Okay.
Before I rip it apart, okay.
Right. Hold on, but before you let me get this last part. Let me get this last part.
Yeah.
Why would Calvin Johnson wait till now to make this statement? Why? Why didn't he not say last year? I only can point. I can only point to one thing. All right. This is where we got to roll up the sleeves. Calvin Johnson's moving back to Georgia in the fall. Calvin Johnson got married last year. Who did he marry? He married a Lions employee. A Lions employee that got promoted in 2014.
So?
What is her title with the Lions? She is the promotion manager of the partnership activation with the Detroit Lions. I'm not going to say her name, but she's married to Calvin
So
Johnson.
what's your point?
My point is that
She's
She's leaving.
Down South Georgia boy, he gone.
no, she's leaving her job, and now he's going to talk.
Okay, that's fine. He probably didn't want. Okay, then what's wrong with that?
What's wrong with that?
Respecting her career.
Respecting her career, we paid you $132 million. You gonna throw us under the bus when you and your wife decide to go to Georgia?
Yes, sir.
That's how you do business. And
No.
I'm not cool with that. And that's my biggest thing is that the Lions have been made.
So your feelings is hurt.
My feelings
Because you
not
talk
hurt.
about business, you can't have your feelings hurt in business.
I'm not saying that that's not how you do business. If you had a problem with the deal that was wrong, say something when the deal was announced last year. Don't wait until 2017 when you 2 months from getting out of town. Now, disclaimer, I love Calvin. Calvin's a great dude on and off the field. But I got a big problem with him even coming to the media with it. If it's a problem...
But wait, here's the thing. Here's where I'm always concerned is, he brought up about, I want to know, because I haven't seen every single report, I want to specifically know who brought up, he said there were some things that he did not appreciate how things were going when he was out of the building. He didn't bring up money, he didn't bring
The reporter brought up money and he didn't deny it. So
okay, he didn't deny it, but he didn't lead with that.
Okay,
He just said,
you're right. All I'm doing is speaking to the Free Press article because the Lions have been made to be the penny pincher in this.
They are. They're cheap.
How? Okay.
Let's get to this.
Explain to me how they're
So
cheap.
hold on. Before we get to this, I want everybody to keep this in your these things in your mind as we talk about Mr. Johnson. Okay, he is now.
You better not come on here talking about stats.
Some stats. Hold on. First of all, Calvin, we've had two of guys that have been pretty much game changers at their position. We had Barry, and we've had Calvin. So we're just a lucky franchise to have two people like that in our lifetime.
Really, they game changers, huh?
Okay.
How many games they changed? How many playoff games they changed?
6'5",
Go ahead.
6'5", 240, 4'3" coming out of college.
Oh,
All
that's
right?
a good
Hold on.
stat.
Played for 2007 to 2015, 9-year career. Okay, 6-time Pro Bowler, 3-time first All-Team, All-Pro, 2-time NFL receiving leader in 2011, 2012, NFL receptions leader, NFL touchdown receiving leader in 2008, single season yardage leader of all time, 1,964 yards. And his career stats are: he has 731 receptions, 11,619 yards, and 83 touchdowns. So if you break that down over a 9-year career, per year he had 81 catches, 1,300 yards, and 9 touchdowns. I think anybody will take that and number one say that he's earned. And I'm not a big guy. Most guys don't earn their checks. He earned his checks, and very rarely did he not play. If he didn't play, there was something wrong with him. And now you're hearing that he was even hiding some serious stuff to get on the field and help his team.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So like you said, March 14th, 2012, he signed an 8-year extension. It was the big, not just football. It was at that time, it was one of the biggest contracts in sports, period. So, but it was like, hey, that's Megatron. All right, he deserves it. We didn't complain because we know he's locked up here. Here's the quote that he said. He was at a youth football camp. And when he was talking to the reporter, he said, "I just didn't feel like I was treated the way I should have been treated on the way out. That's all. I mean, it's all good. I'm not tripping. I don't feel any kind of way. Just, hey, that's what they did. Hey, it is what it is." So that doesn't let me know, for a guy that's made all that money, you ask him for, even if they ask for the 3.2, but then he still settled with it, in his eyes, chump change at 320,000. That might have been a little, but I don't think that's what caused him to have. So to me, there's something deeper that's going on.
What else could I mean?
I don't know. And
I understand. I can only speak to what the reports are.
Well, here's another thing. This is what I looked up because I want to say, you know what? Is this something that is just a Lions doing dumb stuff, or is it something? And so it said that, what he did when a player retires like this, the teams have the right to recoup this money.
Absolutely.
And a lot of times they do. But when it comes to an icon or legendary player, most of it they bypass it because they know the relationship that they're going to have to make sure he leaves on good terms, but also for future endeavors or there's marketing promotions coming back working. There's good feelings left. So like I said, for a guy of his stature to have left that way. So you say, hey, maybe it's a one-time thing. Let's look at this. The Lions did this to someone else, and his name is Barry Sanders. Now it's a little bit different because it's a little bit different, but what they did was the same thing, and I know the same management's not there, but there's some element inside the Lions that has kept this going on. So here we go. Barry Sanders in 1997 renewed his contract with the Lions, 6 years, $34 million. He got $11 million signing bonus. 2 years later, and this is on the eve of training camp. At least Calvin said when the season was over, I'm done.
Yeah, Calvin was definitely better than Barry did.
So a couple days, but he retired. The Lions demanded back 5.5. Now I can say yeah because you're only 2 years into an extension,
Yeah,
right?
yes.
And we gave you 11.
Yeah.
So I understand that. Okay. Well, what a lot of people, if they don't know, well, Barry said no, I ain't give you nothing back, and so they sued him. So when they sued him, they said an NFL arbitrator ruled that he had to pay back at least 1.8 million. And Barry, he did that. But he told them, I will give you this $5.5 million back if you release me. And they said, hell no, that ain't happening. So he said that I'm not giving you this money back. So in essence, it kind of sealed his retirement because as long as he didn't try to go play for another team or come back to the league, then he wouldn't have. So he gave that 1.8 million and that was wrapped. So my thing is like this.
But I understand, there's no way I'm releasing a Hall of Fame player who retires on me.
But once again,
Right before
I understand. But
training
once
camp.
again, what is in the air in the organization that makes your top? And they tried to blame it on Bobby Ross, and he came out and said nothing to do with Bobby Ross. He said Bobby Ross actually was a good coach, and he helped him get to 2,000 yards a night. So what is whether it's karmic energy, whether it's just what
No,
karma,
you know what I think it is though, and I think sometimes we blame the Lions a little too much. Two things that Barry Sanders and Calvin have in common: they're not alpha dogs. Neither one of them. They can be extremely talented. They're not Ray Lewis. They're not grabbing cats and saying, you coming with me. They're going to do their job and they're going to go home. They don't live to play football. They play football and then they go home. Those are two things. And this is my problem with the Calvin thing, where we say, well, they didn't take back Marshawn Lynch's bonus. Well, Marshawn Lynch took them to a Super Bowl and he won it. I don't think Calvin has done what Marshawn Lynch did in Seattle here. You can talk about stats, but when you talk about changing the culture of an organization, changing a team, Marshawn Lynch did that in Seattle. He earned that money. I think there needs to be, and this is where I was talking about. Calvin he's got butt hurt. Well, William Clay Ford died. He was dead. The former general manager, who he was there with for a long time, was fired. So here's Quinn, who's coming from New England, doing it the Patriots way, who doesn't know Calvin other than what he saw on film. He doesn't know him that well. Martha Ford, who we never saw in the fold with William Clay ever. So the people he's dealing with now in his retirement don't know Calvin at all. All they know is we got a new team. We're trying to build a winner. What do we got to do now? They say, hey, you know what, Calvin? Thanks for everything you did for the organization. Although we weren't part of it, here, pay us back 10% because we don't want to set a bad precedent for future deals. Because what I want to say is, what if you let Calvin keep all the money? What happens if Matthew Stafford wins the Super Bowl, right? And he decides to retire early on his contract. Do you let him keep all the money?
If he wins the Lions the Super Bowl, they'll say, here, we'll actually throw some more on top
That's
of the
my point. It's got to be a difference, though.
Okay.
You can't. We got a guy, and Calvin, as great as he was, he never put a team on his back. And you can say he did this in this game. I'm not talking about what he did in the game. I'm talking about what he did in the locker room, what he did for an organization. Marshawn Lynch changed the way that offense played. It changed the way that team, and it was a couple other guys there, but Marshawn Lynch brought a mentality to that team, changed it. That's a difference maker in an organization. Barry Sanders and Calvin Johnson, they never changed the dynamics of the Lions locker room because when those guys left, we had the same turd on the field as before they got here. So I'm sorry, Calvin. I love you for the memories. I love you for the stats. You're a hell of a player. That 40-inch vertical is remarkable. But after you left, we're looking at the same crappy team. So give me a difference maker. Give me somebody that's going to make the team better. Not only just your stats. Give me somebody that's going to make other receivers better, make the running back hungry, get in people's face, and give this organization an injection of life that they never had. Calvin didn't do that, so run this money.
If you would like to call and disagree with that rant that you just heard, please call into the Rock and Turk Sports Show at 248-721-8570. Because I really want to know anybody out there who is agreeing with Turk on this.
I think a lot of people agree with Turk. I think it's ridiculous.
I don't listen to you night class of 90 All right, so let me get back to a couple things on that because I want to address. One, the reason why football is two reasons the greatest game in the world. One, like I said before, compared to NBA and other sports, your team has a shot at least 8 weeks in every season. Right? So you never know who's going to be in the Super Bowl. You have your picks, but that's what's great about the game. Second of all, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. But second of all, you cannot one guy can't do it. See, when Shaq came in the league and he took the Magic, I think they had won 8 or 9 games that year. Next year they won 41 games. And the only thing hold on. The only thing that changed was one person. LeBron can change one team. Football, you even maybe the quarterback position, but you still got to have people around you. No one person. It is a game. It's a game of pieces. It is a game of pieces.
100% disagree.
You can't. Hey, listen, Barry was the coldest running back ever. Would you say?
Arguably, he wasn't
Okay.
Walter Payton.
Okay. Those two guys are probably two of the greatest running backs. To me, I would say one and two.
Yeah.
1 and 1A. Walter Payton. Well, it's a different league at the
Walter
time.
Payton changed the dynamic.
But so did Barry. But the problem was wait. You never invested in a quarterback. You had Rodney Peete, you had Bob Galliano. You had one decent guy had 1 year, and look what happened to him.
This is the thing.
Wait, he can't. And that's a running back who gets more touches. You're looking at a receiver who's going to get at most. He's absurdly. He was getting about 8, 9 catches a game, but also because everybody throw to. I'm not even saying you had to go get.
It's their receivers that changed the dynamic of the team, man. Do you remember when Terrell Owens went to Philadelphia?
But look at the receiver. The other guys they had Reggie Brown.
I don't care who else is there. If you watch the team the year before and you watch the team with T.O.
I understand, but what did he do? But what did he do to that team? He number one, because you have to go and cover him, right? They had Bryant Westbrook. They had Reggie Brown. They had Greg Lewis. They had L.J. Smith, the tight end. They had a lot of pieces that got better because of him, because they went out and invested in it. Now, you took him away, and when T.O. left, right, they were back to where they were at. They were okay. What I'm saying is you had this monster, just like when Barry was here. You had Herman Moore, and they had Brett Perryman. When Brett Perryman left, they got Johnny Morton. And they never surrounded you.
Are you saying that one of the biggest gripe that people have always had with Barry is that he wasn't a leader, that he was not vocal, that he did not hold people accountable? I think that's one of the biggest gripes they've always had.
But here's the thing,
right?
But we're coaches, right?
Yeah.
We know. Okay, we had a great free safety last year, right? He is a phenomenal player. Hello, welcome to the Rock and Turk show. Who's this? What's going on, Cole? What's happening? What's who you riding with, Rock or Turk? Thank you. Let me hear what's going on. Let me hear why.
Thoughts? What's up, man? Give me this weak stuff. I'm good. What you think? What's your reasoning? Here we go, stats. We want to talk stats. But Carl, that's the problem. He never called. I understand that, but okay. Do you remember the Lions' record the year before Calvin got there?
It was bad.
I can bet you it was around 6-10. It was around
not for the third pick.
Okay, I mean their average record over a 10-year span was probably around between 6 and 8 wins. And after Calvin leaves, I can bet you the next 10 years, unless Quinn is a difference maker, it's going to be the same. Because there's no difference, and I understand that he put up great stats. I think people think that I'm not anti-Calvin. I think Calvin is a phenomenal player, but I think we need to say something about, hey, if you're going to win playoff games, you're going to be a Super Bowl. This is what you get. If you're not a leader there, then hey, this is what you get. We gave you a 90% discount. Can we lead at 10% for people that actually do something that hasn't been done here before? But it hasn't been done here.
Go ahead.
He got an 8-year, 100. But why? But Carl, let me ask this. How's he being? He waited.
I think you can't bring that up. His woman is working with the organization. Maybe he didn't know they were moving. He's not going to create heat for her. Because if he says something, but he says some wild stuff while she's working there, he's going to create heat. They may fire her, do whatever.
They paid that man $132 million.
Well, that ain't her money.
It ain't.
No, yeah, they not.
She was married last year.
Okay, whatever. I mean, it's
All right.
don't come.
I have a problem with why now, and I'm not saying Calvin is about the money. It might be a whole different topic, but we're speaking to what the articles say.
What we know.
All we can speak to what articles, and I think it's ridiculous to say we gave you a 90% discount and you mad.
Okay, let's look beyond that. Let's look beyond that. As far as I'm concerned, they make that. Every NFL team make that happen. But if you look beyond that, think about it. When you heard players and coaches say the offense is better without Calvin. It opens everything up.
Yeah.
No, that was ridiculous.
I think.
He's great, man. He got paid 132 million. Well, like Carl, I agree. We can agree to disagree. I understand your point in it. Hey, but we got a couple callers here waiting. And so Carl's on the favor of that. He's on Rocco's side, so he's rocking it because I'm turking it. I'm saying, Calvin, you weak, get out of here.
You know, he brought up, but here's another good point that he brought up. So he said he's throwing to Megatron in triple team, in triple cover, right?
Yeah.
My point exactly. Nate Burleson, nothing getting it done. Okay? Anybody they brought in here, and I'm not telling you you had to go get someone. Hello, welcome to the Rock and Turk show. Who's this?
This is Dave.
Dave, what's going on, Dave?
Hey, man, I'm good.
What do you got? What are your thoughts? You rocking it with Rock or you going with Turk?
I'm rocking with both of them because I think they both have unique outlooks on it. But I think both of them need to just step back and say, what's in the past is in the past. Let's look at the future of what's going on with the Lions. Let's see what they do. I mean, yeah, he was a good receiver. He was triple teamed a lot and opened up other guys.
They ain't had nobody to throw to. Ain't no other guy. Go ahead. Go ahead.
And now, we need to be worrying about them taking a step forward.
Dave, I agree. I agree with you, and so you're actually siding with me because you're saying, hey, Calvin, keep your mouth shut. Why even bring this up? Because if he didn't say anything, if he didn't say anything last week, then we're not talking about this, and they're working it out behind closed doors. Because you know what? They're going to still work it out behind closed doors, and Calvin's going to be on the sideline at games. We're just making this a topic because now the Lions look like public enemy number one, which was totally unnecessary. That's my whole point.
Well, I don't even think it's that, you know. I personally know one of the girls that works there, like the front office, the PR girl that handles advertising. And
Did you just name drop? Yeah, I mean, it could have been handled better, but, you know, like I said, it was a new owner, a new general manager, new president. I don't think they had a personal relationship with Calvin to know what he wanted. He was he was not an outgoing guy. He was very soft-spoken. They might not have known what he wanted unless he explicitly told them. So maybe they thought he wanted a low-key send-off because he's always been a low-key guy.
let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
If he wanted something, why was he so low key? If you wanted something, you would not be low key. You would speak up and say, hey, this is what I want, this is what I need.
Well, maybe that's what happened behind closed doors, and maybe
That's
that's
what we
what
don't
he
know,
did
but that's
behind
what we
closed
don't know.
doors, and they told him to kick rocks, and I don't know.
I highly doubt they said kick rocks. I highly doubt it. I think that at the end of the day, this is something that gets discussed behind closed doors. There's no need for him to go at his camp and say, I didn't like how the Lions treated me down the stretch. Because what you see is the Lions getting blasted. And I think in the long term, 90% discount for a guy who was a phenomenal player, but he was not a part of one week. Barry Sanders and Calvin, as great as they've always been. This organization has no playoff wins between two of the greatest players ever to play the game. And you want to get on here and tell me
Because what
that
happens, because if you don't build your team up, when you get to the playoffs, like you know being a coach, I'm going to take away your right hand and make you play with your left hand. You take away Barry. When they went up to Green Bay, I think that's the worst game he ever had in his life to help him, negative 2 yards. They had no one to throw the ball to. They had no one
And Barry, you know what Barry was doing on the sideline? He was sitting there looking around like he was lost. That's the difference between him and an alpha dog like Terrell Owens or Ray Lewis, because when they was kicking our
I'll
butt,
give you
he
Ray
going to
Lewis.
get in those linemen's face and saying, hey, that's not acceptable. Those guys don't do that.
I'll give you Ray Lewis. I didn't give you, who'd you say?
Terrell Owens?
Too many problems. He caused too many problems.
Okay, Marshawn Lynch caused problems,
Yeah,
but the mentality
but he
changed.
didn't cause problems on the field because you know why? Because here's the thing.
They respected him.
Back to my original point.
Yeah.
The kid that we had on our team is free safety. He's a dog player. He's got college opportunities looking at him. we know he's not the most vocal guy in the world, right? So what we did was we found our guys and we kind of nudged those guys to be, or some of them just took off and did it themselves. I know Calvin's quiet. It's quiet to me. Barry was quiet. Didn't really like media. Didn't do well in interviews. Some things. So if I know that man that's not his personality, then you just keep catching these balls. You keep running this ball, and I'm gonna go find where's the other guy that stood up. How
Okay,
come
so
Stafford doesn't stand up and get
let's
fired
go.
up?
Let's go through the history of the Lions organization. Let's go through just Super Bowl winning organizations.
Okay. Yep.
And show me a team who had their best player was soft spoken, who won the Super Bowl. Name the team.
As far as what, their superstars?
Their superstars were soft spoken.
Tim Duncan.
I would
Talking about football though.
I would say Joe Montana. He wasn't
Oh,
around.
no.
No. He spoke, but he wasn't. You're talking. What are you asking? You guys had a guy who talks, or are you talking about a Ray Lewis,
I'm talking about a guy that just talks. I'm talking about a guy that demands.
like a Richard Sherman?
No, he don't have to be a screamer, but he demands accountability. I don't think it's a secret that for years and years that in the organization, in the locker room, Calvin has always been the guy that cut to himself. He never demanded stuff out of anybody else other than himself. And I think for your best player, if you want your organization to go to the next level, your best player has got to demand more out of his teammates.
Well, it comes to that. Are you a leader or you follower? Or do you? I don't know.
You don't
I don't know. You can't. If that's not his personality, you can't. Because here's what's the worst thing in the locker room that we do. I hate fake hype. I hate fake leaders.
But I'm not saying that.
But
I'm not trying to change him. I'm just saying though that a player of that magnitude, it has the ability to impact the organization.
Okay.
And our organization will not impact.
Who's on the squad? I'm thinking about what we got right now. Who's on our squad that does that? I mean, Ziggy Ansah is quiet. You know what I'm saying?
And
The only person you had was Ndamukong Suh, who was
the team begins stomp. And the hope is that Jared Davis is. They say Jared Davis is a Ray Lewis type. And what did you see in the Free Press articles? The day Jared Davis gets on the field, he will probably be the unquestioned leader of that team. You know why? Because ain't nobody else there to step up. They're as good as Darius Slay
So
is.
what does that say about the organization?
Well, it's the reason
the
that
coaching staff and he's a trickle down effect, right?
All right. Well, then guess what? If Darius Slay decides to retire early, run that check too.
No,
matter how good he is.
but he ain't. But if he's a Hall of Famer, if he's a Dion or he's a Revis, then yeah. But he's not in that. He's not even. Has he made a Pro Bowl?
I misspoke earlier though, and Kyle tweeted in. He said Barry did win one playoff game. Barry won a playoff game in '91. Right, but that was one playoff game in all the history of the Lions that we got. That's our shining grace. 91.
But Calvin showed up in the New Orleans game. Who didn't show up? The defense.
Yeah,
Breeze ripped them apart. So how does he have anything to do with that?
I'm not okay. That's one game where he did his job. I get it.
He did his job his whole career.
I get it, but I'm just saying he might just be a product of a bad environment. He might be.
But what I'm saying is, if you look at his numbers, back up what he does.
I'm not saying that he didn't deserve to be the best player. Or he's not the best player. He might be a product of just a horrible organization. The fact is that while he was there, they didn't do it. They didn't get it done, and it's got to be something better for the guys to get it done. You can't get a guy that didn't get it done the same thing as you get the guy that gets it done. And what you're saying is that, hey, here's your going away present.
So he don't deserve that. So let me just ask you a question. Bottom line
Nope.
question. He doesn't deserve that 3.2.
Nope.
For what he did here. Times
8 years, 132
They
million.
gave Kobe Bryant $24 million.
He ain't Kobe. Don't you dare get on here. Don't you dare get on here and compare Calvin and Kobe.
His career was over. He was done. They weren't going to win any championship.
Don't you dare get on here and give Kobe and Calvin.
They gave him the 2 years, $50 million for time served and rendered.
Are you trying to say that Calvin Johnson and Kobe Bryant are remotely in the same universe?
I'm talking about the situation. They gave him a contract at the end of his career when he did not deserve that money. They gave it to him for past performance. So you tell me he get $50 million versus him getting 3.2?
That's because Kobe played his contracts out. Calvin didn't. He decided to quit early. He didn't even get to the thank you part.
So let me ask you all
He
this
said
question.
deuces.
Last thing before we get out of here. Let me ask you a question. If you go back to 2007 and the third pick comes up, are we taking him? Are we saying no? Knowing how the story's going to end, then I win. Thank you very much.
What does that mean? What kind of win is that? Anyway, recount. I want to recount.
You know, if this conversation is still hot, we'll come next week. But definitely want to once again let you know and thank our sponsor. Our show is brought to you and sponsored by Blaze Contracting.
Are we muted? Are we muted? Yeah. I'll lay it into it. Hey, we can cut that off. We leave that off?
Yeah, you can cut that off. I mean, we still got to do the.
Let's leave it on.
What are you teasing for next week?
Huh? Yeah, we gotta do teasers.
Well, we can do we didn't get to the Seahawks stuff, so you can do Seahawks.
Yeah.
Because that's going to keep going up, because this is more, now he even came out.
Who was David? I don't know who David was. Oh, was it?
I think so, it sounded like that.
I know we probably was.
Can I just go on record and say Barry and Calvin are both overrated?
What? What? You should have lived with that. We had all kinds of cool.
Hot take.
Fuck Barry Sanders, I've hated him forever.
You
Most
say that.
overrated player in the history of sports. Sorry.
So should they have taken Marshawn Lynch that draft?
For sure.
Yep.
We haven't had a running game since Barry Sanders.
If you're telling me the difference, we would be better off with Marshawn and Calvin, give me Marshawn. That's a good point. You should have brought that up. Hot take.
2, 1.
Welcome back. As we're closing out to this week, obviously you witnessed a hot and intense battle about Calvin Johnson. And I just want to make a disclaimer, make sure you guys understand. We all love Calvin Johnson. We think he's a phenomenal player. I just don't like the attack on the Lions organization. But tune in next week, because if this thing's still going back and forth, I know Jim Caldwell came out with a statement yesterday. Hopefully we see these guys. Somebody, if you see them too at IHOP or at the local Denny's or at Big Boy, sharing the milkshake, can you please send that picture to Rock and Turk Sports with a Z on Twitter so that we know that everything's good. Otherwise, we might be back here next week. Also, we're going to talk about the feud that's starting to come up in Seattle. What's going on in Seattle between Russell Wilson and Richard Sherman? Is it over for Seattle, or they're just getting started? Also, we're going to continue with the NBA playoffs, because if the Cavs do their job tonight, we should be talking about the Golden State Warriors, Cleveland Cavs after Game 1, right? We should have a good idea who's going to win that series. I already got the Warriors. We can talk about it more next week. So tune in with us next week. Hope you enjoyed the show. It'll be on the Sports Podcast soon. That's Rock and Turk Sports with a Z on Twitter. Or you can hit us on Gmail, Rock and Turk Sports with an S, Rock and Turk Sports Show at gmail.com, Rock and Turk Sports Show at gmail.com. Or check out our Facebook page, Rock and Turk Sports Show. We've got the live feed from today's show. We'll have all the podcast up soon. Thanks for tuning in this week. We'll see you later. Rock?
Hey, I just got to say thanks everybody for listening. We will have to revisit this, because I'm just going to throw Jay under the bus. We got a whole other topic. He said Calvin Johnson and Barry Sanders are both overrated.
That's a hot take.
That might
Hot take.
Hot take next week. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.
Cheer!
Oh, man.
I think you got beat up.
I was going to interrupt you to get to the Seattle.